We're gradually building our project and starting to pass data through from the back end to the front end. What we want to do now, though, is give some attention to the about data that we're displaying on our screen here. So that we can add more members of the company if we wish, it would be good if we could load all of this information from a file and then display it to screen. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new directory and call it data. And in there, I'm going to create a file called company.json. So when I've created that file, we'll open it up for editing. And this file is going to contain an array of objects. So we'll create the square brackets for the array, then curly braces for our first object. And our object is going to have three keys: name, which for the first one I'm going to set to Thorin Oakenshield, then description, which will contain a brief biography about him, and then image source, which will contain a link to the image. So I'm going to just copy the description that I have and get that from my About page. So I'm just going to copy the brief biography that I have here and then paste that in between the quotes in my description field. Now, a couple of things that I should mention here is that it's vital that we don't have any carriage returns in this, that it's all on one line, otherwise it's not valid JSON. And also I need to remove any double quotes and replace them with single quotes. As you can see here, the line goes back to being green again, which shows that it's correct. The reason is if we have double quotes, then it assumes that we're finishing our string. I can go back then to my About page now and just copy and paste the image source that I have. So let's just take that and paste it in. And my first object in my array looks good. My name, description, and image source. Now then, what we want to do is go back to our run.py and get that importing. So to do that, first of all, I need to import the JSON library, because we're going to be parsing the data that's coming in as JSON. Then I'm going to go down to my About view, and first of all initialize an empty array called data. Then, using a with block, just as we did before when we were doing reading from files, I'm going to put with space open, and then in brackets, data/company JSON as the first argument, R for reading, and I'm going to refer to that as JSON data. Now I'm going to set my data variable to the JSON parsed data that we've sent through. So data equals JSON.load JSON_data. And then I'm going to pass that into my return. I'm going to call it company equals data. So in my template, I'm going to refer to this data that we've passed through as company. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to go to my About page. And firstly, let's just see what it is that we're passing through. So I'll put in a couple of blank lines at the top here, and let's just have a look at all of the data that we're passing through from our file. So save that, go to my About page and refresh it. And as you can see, we have an array, and we have this JSON data inside. And the U on the front of the field names is not important. That's just indicating to us that this is in Unicode. But because it's an array, I can refer to it using standard Python notation. So in square brackets, I can put 0 to take the first element out of the array. And then in square brackets, I can put name to get the name field. So now when I refresh that, I get Thorin Oakenshield. Let's add some more data to our JSON file. So I'm going to go back to company.json and we'll add a comma after my curly braces here and add another object, which is going to have exactly the same format as the first object. So this time name is going to be Killy and Philly. Again, a comma after name. Then description. I'll just initialize that with an empty string for now. And the same for image source. Okay, again, back to my about.html file, and we'll copy the information about Philly and Killy here. I have a brief paragraph of biographical information, so we'll copy that and paste it in. It's all on one line, which is good, and this time we don't have any double quotes that need to be removed. Okay, so now I'll go to my image source, back to about.html, and we'll copy the image source from our col MD5. Copy that and paste it in. Very good. So now, if I go back to my about.html and scroll to the top, this time I can put a 1 in the square brackets because that's going to take the second element out of my array. So the name that should be displayed now is Killy and Philly. And indeed it is. So that's how to load data from a JSON file and then get it through into our template on the front end. And we could actually create our entire file like this, but it would be so much easier if we didn't have to worry about how many objects we had in our file, if we could just iterate through that. So using what we've already learned about for loops, that's what we're going to do in our next video.